Uh,
Yeah.
man, no problem, no problem, man. My bad, man. I should have gave you more better direction. That's my fault.
Nah, man, I was in the wrong. I got a lot of different email addresses, man. I was in the wrong one, bro, the whole
I got
time.
you. I
So
got
that's on me. I
I got
realized what I had pulled up was my other email. So I'm like bugging, like, nah, I don't even see that.
you.
Yeah,
Well,
how you
man, hey,
doing,
man,
brother?
I'm doing good, bro. Man, thank you for coming on Underdog of the World podcast, man. I appreciate you, bro.
Absolutely, absolutely. Glad to be here. Appreciate the invite.
No problem, man. Yo, what today, y'all? We got Christopher Terrell in the building with us.
What's good, peeps? What's good? What's good?
If you don't know him, you will after this interview. That's for sure.
All right, that's what it is.
What it is, man. All right, man. We're gonna go. We're gonna start. We're gonna start way back. We're gonna go back to childhood. That's
Okay,
how
what's
we.
up?
That's how we gonna do, bro. So we gonna go first.
Okay.
Yeah, so I heard you from you said is it called Raleigh, North Carolina?
Yeah, Raleigh. I'm from Raleigh, NC. Absolutely. Rough Raleigh, they call it.
Okay. What was it? What
Yeah.
was that like growing up in North up there? Man? What's it like growing up there?
I mean, it was cool, man. I mean, it's crazy because, I had family in every hood out here. You know what I mean? So every neighborhood out here, I had family members, man. So it was always just love, everywhere I went growing up here. Um, Small compared to big cities, of course, at that time. But like everybody want to be here now. It's like mad people in North Carolina. You know what I mean? But it was good, man. Just growing up, I grew up in the church here. Moms and pops kept me there, so that's kind of how my music, started, to flourish and whatnot. Because I had um, members that were in like a gospel groups. My dad, cousins
Yeah.
and whatnot, my uncle. So they kind of nourished me into music, just watching them, and then just singing in classrooms as talent shows. I didn't have a lot, so when they would say you bring something to class like show and tell. I don't know if you guys had that growing
Yeah,
up.
growing up.
Yeah, like show and tell was a thing, and I didn't have much, so I would always sing. You know what I mean? And
That's what's up.
yeah, things like that, man. So that was Raleigh growing up, and then my high school. Um, I called it the best high school in America. It was it was like 50% blacks. You know what I mean? And that's really unheard of growing up. Down south. You know what I mean? And it
Yeah.
was a gifted and talented school as well. So it was a magnet, and so it was a lot of talented people there, man. And we had this show that they put on each year called the Air Guitar, and I went when I went to it the first time. I was like in eighth grade watching people do it in ninth grade. And I was like, yo, I got to do that because people were performing. It's kind of like the lip sync contest, and people were doing it, and it was like a big show. And they had it for like one night only towards the end of the year. And when I got to high school, I jumped on that, and you just start getting notoriety because performing. You be performing and lip singing. So I just took it to another level. And when I got to my junior year, they added an extra night, so it would be Thursday and a Friday night, and it would sell out every time. So that's really how I started. Like, yo, I want the stage. You know what I
I
mean?
got yeah, I know what you mean. What was the name of your school? What was it
It was
called?
Enlow High School in
Hello
Raleigh,
High
William
School.
G. Enlow, yeah. And we call it the low,
The
you
low.
know? Yeah, we called it the low, man.
And
There was a lot of girls. All the guys would always come to our school because we had a lot of girls there, you know what I mean? It was crazy.
yeah, I seen but listening to your music and stuff, man. Let's talk a little about the your new tape you got out, man. What's it
Okay.
called? Gospel Soul, what's it called?
Nah, it's the Geo Soul tape.
Oh yeah, Geo. My bad. Geo Soul. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, the Geo stands for good energy only. You know what I
What's the
mean?
inspiration behind that?
Um, just going through a lot, brother. You know what I mean? Like, first of all, shout out to my boy Magic Reed. He actually produced it. Magic Reed, he's produced music for like Mariah Carey, a lot of stuff for Bad Boy, Stevie Wonder. He's worked with Prince. He's super dope. I worked with him a lot in the '90s, and I ended up linking up with him a few years back because of my son. My son wanted to get into the music game, and he ended up he produced this album, and me and my son wrote the album, and he had been
Uh,
pushing me since then to do an album, and I just really wasn't in the headspace to do it. I ended up doing a single a couple years ago called "Searching," which was really good. And this summer happened to be in New York, and just started doing this album because I was up there, and it just ended up smashing while I had time. But what inspired the name, the Geo Soul Tape, Good Energy Only. I've been going through a lot last couple of years. One of my best friends had got killed. Taheem Bryant, shout out to him, God rest his soul. He was a filmmaker. He put out the movie Equal Standard with Ice T and Tretch and just a lot of Fredro
oh,
stars and
okay,
mad
man.
people in the movie. Um,
I'm sorry
and
for
I
your
didn't want
loss,
to do
man.
any what thank you, brother. I didn't want to do anything negative. I wanted to put some good energy out there because, you know, it seems like we always listen to something negative. You know what I mean? It's always something negative out there, and I just didn't want to put out that energy. Even with my dad having dementia, and going through it, my mom having to be his caregiver, and just it was just so much negative stuff going on. I felt like a lot of people needed some feel good music. You know what I mean? And that feel good music is what I wanted to give them, and this this came from. You know what I mean? The Geo Soul Tape, Good Energy Only.
Man, what's all the platforms so all the people can hear?
It's on every platform, Spotify, YouTube, it's on Apple Music. Anywhere you can download music is there, Amazon. It's on every platform that you can go to is there, man. It's obtainable.
Got you. Guys, so I
Yeah.
want to touch bases on. All right, so I know I heard you was in the R&B group in the '90s, right? Early
Yeah.
'90s.
Yep.
What was the name? What was
Yeah.
the name of that group?
Well, we had a couple names, but it started out Heavy D gave us the first name called 1 o'clock. You know what I mean?
1 o'clock. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
what I thought it
Uh,
was, but I wasn't sure if I had the right name.
yeah. So it was called 1 o'clock, and then it switched from 1 o'clock to Adrian and Terrell. You know what I mean? My boy name was Adrian. I always used my last name, growing up in the '90s because I wanted to, represent my family. So that's why everybody would call me Terrell or either Rel. And Yeah, we started, back in the '90s. Puff had offered us a deal back then, but we were also working with this guy named Brian Leach. He's big time in the business, and he was managing us at the time. So we got on with RCA. Initially we were supposed to come out after SWV, but things didn't work out. And that's how we ended up going back to Puff, and Puff connected us with Hev. You know what I mean? Hev gave me a call one day when I was at work. It was crazy. You know what I mean?
That's
So
that's that's funny right there. I bet you was like,
yeah.
but you was like, ooh, heavy D's calling me at work.
Yeah, it was crazy because I was working in like this mailroom type gig, and it was like an open space with like a lot of us. It was a lot of guys, a few ladies in there, but it was like mostly dudes. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah,
you couldn't really get calls at that time, and it had one phone in there. Like I said, this is early, and this chick named Sandra, she was like the supervisor, and she answered the phone, and she was like, "Class, this guy said he's heavy D on the phone." It was like somebody else prank call. I'm like, oh man, why did I have to get that type of call? You know what I mean? So I went and grabbed the phone, and I was like, "Yo, hello." He was like, "Yo, this is Hev," and I was like, "Oh, it was crazy." You know what I mean? So yeah, that was one of those cool calls, that you want to get sometimes.
yes. So I know y'all. I watched a little bit of one of your previous interviews, and I got some stuff out of it so I can know who you was and
Right.
all that stuff. And you was explaining how y'all got to New York. Can you explain that to everybody how you got to New York?
How I got to New York.
Yeah,
So, well, it's crazy, man, because at that time, I was going to North Carolina Central University with my man Adrian, who I sang with, and we didn't really have dough like that. You know what I'm saying? and I had a lot of cats that was in the streets, doing their thing, man, and they believed in me, man, and they kind of, they gave me some money. One of my boys, big, in particular, Big Mike, hit me off with, some dough, and we went up the road. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
it's crazy. What triggered that was my one of our homeboys, Pup. His uncle was managing Teddy Riley at the time, and we went to see him and sing for Teddy and whatnot, and we were supposed to come back to the studio at a certain time, but we in Virginia Beach, and one of our homegirls was at Hampton University. So we like, yo, she wanted us to come hang out with her. So we went down there, man. It was just, girls, and we end up wilding out. We didn't get back to Virginia Beach to the studio to like 2 o'clock in the morning, man. And dude cursed us out. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, y'all, he was like, you motherfuckers ain't ready. You know what I'm saying? Y'all need to go to New York, lose yourself to find yourself. And that's what we did, man. It was crazy. He was mad at us. So we went up there. We're supposed to be working with his son. But his son kind of left us in the hotel. You know what I'm saying? Money being spent, and I end up calling one of my other boys who I met. Like I said, this dude was in the streets. We had gone up to New York with him a few times, and he was trying to help us out with this music thing, and we ended up calling his peoples, and they came and got us, and it was just no turning back, man. People was trying to send us home, because we didn't have anywhere to stay, you know what I mean, and we was just fighting to live, you know what I mean, fighting,
Yeah.
singing to who, to anybody, just trying to get it, man, until we caught
And,
some attention.
and that's brave, man. I don't know. I'm from a little town called Paducah, Kentucky. It's in
Okay.
Kentucky. Yeah, man, it's in Western Kentucky, man. As far as you can go western, that's where I'm from.
Oh
And
wow.
I could imagine leaving here and going to the big city and fighting on my own. I don't know how crazy expensive it was back then. I'm pretty sure it still was, but like nowadays,
Yeah,
man,
nowadays it's a totally different world, man. You really can't even
yeah,
make moves like that. You got to have some type of dough, somebody sponsoring you. You know what I mean? I mean, don't get me wrong. We were on floors, like sleeping on floors and count where whoever would have us. You know what I mean? And that's what it was, man. Just trying to survive, and I prayed a lot. I had, as they say, I had a praying grandmother, I had a praying mother, father. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
And
yeah.
because we was out there, man. It seemed like we were always dealing with people that was in the streets. You know what I mean? We riding around, cats having big bags of coke in the car. Like it was crazy stuff. You know what I'm saying? We go up
Yeah,
in hoods, and we sitting outside trying to, people, doing their thing, and grimy cats everywhere. You know what I mean? We didn't know nothing. We were real green. You know what I'm saying? We didn't know New York at the time. You know what I mean? And that particular guy I'm just mentioning now that was, doing his thing in the streets. He like I said, he was trying to take us to the bus station to get us back. And we was like, nah, you know what I mean? So we ended up getting with some more people that was looking out for us, man, just to doing anything we could to stay. You know what I mean? And we ended up connecting with people, man, that was helping us out. And like I said, that's how we ended up with Brian Leach, and then he was managing us, and then Puff offered us a deal. It was just crazy, man. Just trying to figure it all out, not giving
yeah.
up, not turning back.
So I know you said like, uh, that y'all turned down Puff deal. I mean,
Yeah, so
was not a good deal?
well, nah, it was just trying to be loyal. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I got you.
We was getting ready to move in with Brian. Like I said, we ain't had nowhere to live. So Brian offers us a place to live, and we was getting ready to move in with him when all this happened. So when Puff called, Puff called me. I was my ex girlfriend at the time. We was end up staying in White Plains. You know what I mean? White Plains, New York, which is right above New York, right above right above the Bronx, Mount Vernon area, New Rochelle, right above that area. Anyway, he called one day and was like, "Yo, can I speak to Terrell?" And me being me, and he was like, "Yo, I need to, heard about y'all from such and such. Um, actually from one of the girls in Hampton that I was telling you about. We went,
Got you.
she was up there doing an intern, so she told Puff about it. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I said small world networking, man. It's just you gotta always be careful who you meet because you never know who's going to help you out or have certain links, man. That's why don't burn bridges. Anyway, called and was like, "Yo, come down and see me." And we had a meeting. I think we were supposed to maybe go to RCA or Epic meet with somebody that day. And I was like, "Nah, Puff, we can't come." And hung up the phone. He called me right back. He said, "Yo, B, you know who I am? I got Jodeci. I got Have. He did a puff on me. You know what I'm saying?"
Yeah.
he said, "If y'all all that, y'all come down to see me at 430, 1775 Broadway. That's what the MCA building was." And we ended up jumping on the Iron Horse, and going to meet him, man. And this was really before Puff was known like that. I ain't never meet him. I had never really seen him. You know what I'm
So this is when
saying?
he was working. This was working with what's it,
He was working
Andre?
with Andre Harrell,
Andre.
working at
Okay, gotcha.
Uptown. I mean,
Gotcha.
and he like I said, I heard of him. I had never seen him before. So when we got down there, this other guy that we had met the day before with my boy Brian, I think it was like, I don't know if it was uncle or cousin he was like road manager for Mary J. Blige at the time. We had met him up in Harlem somewhere just to, he introduces kicking it. He was up in the office, up at, Uptown. So when he seen us, he spoke, "What who y'all waiting on?" He was like, "Yo, we come down here to see Puff." And maybe like 5 minutes later, this slim dude, Timberlands on, white t-shirt, shorts, bald head, like come in and say, "Yo, y'all looking for Puff?" He was like, "Yeah." He was like, "I'm Puff." You know what I'm saying? So we got ready to walk back. And my man who had just seen us was like, "Yo, Puff, they good. They good over, you know what I mean?" Puff was like, "Man, get out of here." You know what I'm saying? So we go in there. We sing the national anthem for him for about 30 minutes. You know what I'm saying? You know how long you sing the national anthem? "Oh, say." You know what I'm saying? We done broke it down, me and my
Yeah.
man. We broke it down for about 30 minutes, you know what I'm saying? And anyway, we played him this demo tape we had made when we was in North Carolina, and he looked at me, he was like, yo, you like R. Kelly? I was like, "Yeah, of course." Yeah. He's like, "Yo, your voice remind me of R. Kelly, and he was like, "Yo, I offer y'all deal, but I got to manage y'all. It'll be like 175 or 225, $225,000 deal. You know what I mean?" And his phone rings while we in there, and he pick up. We see him. He talking. Then he's like, "Yo, hold on." He's like, "Terrell's for you." And I'm like, "What?" And my man Brian was outside. He was pissed at us. You know what I'm saying? Like, "Yo, what?" He was like, "What y'all doing?" You know what I mean? I got y'all a deal. I'm getting y'all a deal. So, like, "Yo, what we supposed to do?" You know what I'm saying? We're trying to
Yeah.
get
I
on.
get what you're saying. I get exactly what
You
you're
know what I'm
saying.
saying? And
Loyalty, bro. It's all about loyalty. Yeah.
yeah. So, Puff calls Andre. He was like, "Yo, hold on." He went and got Andre, told Andre we're gonna meet with him. I think that might have been a Friday, Thursday, Friday. He was like, "Yo, they're gonna come meet with us next Tuesday, for this deal." And we never went back. You know what I'm saying? Because like I said, Brian was putting us on, and like I said, Brian was looking out for us. You know what I mean? And we was young, man. We was stupid. You know what I mean? At the time, we just trying to. Well, we weren't stupid. Like I said, we're trying to be loyal. You know what I'm saying? Because Brian was good
Yeah.
people, so we didn't want to. We wasn't raised like that. You do what you got to do, and that's what happened. Reason why we didn't go to Puff.
Yeah. And okay. So you said later on that deal ended up falling through, right?
Yeah, it ended up falling through like a year later. You know what I mean? When things didn't work out properly, and we ended up going back to Puff, trying to and he had just got Bad Boy set up popping, and signed like 5 groups. And he was like, "Yo, I don't have the budget to sign y'all right now, but give me your numbers." You know what I mean? I dig y'all and whatnot, of course, but we gave him his numbers. He always kept in contact with us. You know what I'm saying? We always had his contacts at the time, and like I said, the next day, might have been a day or two later, Have called. You know what I mean? We end up, he put us with his boy Tony Dofat. You know what I'm saying? We were all under his like conglomerate.
Got
You
you.
know what I mean? Tony Dofat was a big producer. He did like what's the 411 for Mary J and a whole lot of other people. Um, and so we ended up signing to that production company and knocking out stuff. And at that time about to have end up having to go to California because he got into the acting game. You know what I mean? And it just everything kind of got stagnant. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
we just end up kept working, man, with a lot of different people, man, and that's how we kind of like just kept moving in the business, man. Just working with a lot of different folks, man, a lot of different producers and whatnot. So,
have you like? I know it's probably been. It's been. Has it been? You still stay in touch with anybody up there? Stay in
um,
touch with.
I mean, I'm not in contact with Puff. If you ask that,
Got
I'm
you.
not definitely. Yeah, I'm not in contact with Puff anymore. But you know, a lot of different producers that I work with, I'm still in contact with. You know what I mean? Like I'm the type of guy now. It's like everything is independent, man, and you know, you just got to do your own thing. Nobody does favors anymore. You know what I'm saying? You got to be already popping for people to really, honestly, to do anything for you now. So that's why you know,
Right.
independence is so big anyway, because everybody, you know, you in this age now where you just got to do your thing. You got to be consistent. You know what I mean? And I'm at the point in my life where I don't really. I would consider myself back in the day as someone who was always asking for things. You know what I'm saying? And
Right.
asking for help. Now it's like you just got to do what you got to do. I'm not, you know, I'm a king now. Like you a king. Like, and so I don't like people that will try to look down on you like you need them. So although you know, I'm humble enough to approach people and ask for certain things, but it has to be, you have to be in a certain position to do that, in my opinion. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
if that makes sense to you.
Got you. Um, we're gonna back it up some. Go back a little to like more like to nowadays. Or little late, little. So let's go a little later on in life.
Yeah.
So was you was in a you made this you made that song for Tyler Perry's Daddy's Little Girl. The
Yeah. So my boy, it's wild how this happened too, right? So um one of the guys I used to work with, one of the best producers I've probably ever worked with also, his name is, I call him Med. His name is Lavolta Allen. I mean, he's done a lot of, he got a lot of credits as well out there. Um, I did my first solo song with, after me and my boy kind of went our separate ways. He's the first one that I was like really working with. His cousin, his name is Big Pooh. He's married to Mika from Escape. Um, so Big Pooh and, excuse me, that's Pooh, Big Pooh is not his cousin. Big Herb is his cousin. I'm not sure if you know Big Herb, but he does a lot of security for like a lot of the um, artists out here. Big Herb. Anyway, so he's mainly with New Edition and Michael Bivins and all them. Anyway, Big Pooh was a rapper at the time, and we connected. Ended up doing a few joints together, and him and Big Herb were like partners, best friends.
gotcha.
And anyway, they hit me up. It's like, yo, um, we need some writers for this Tyler Perry project. And they came and picked me up from somewhere, you know what I mean? And I think we ended up going up over by Herb crib. We was outside, and they was telling me about this movie, and I was like, "Yo, I already got a song for that." You know what I'm saying? I just did a song. It was like, "Where's are you lying?" You know, I'm like, "Nah," you know what I mean? And I happened to have it in my bag, and I put it in, and they was like, "Yo." So long story short, they went down to Atlanta. Got the song done. Anthony Hamilton ended up recording it. They redid the music, however, um, and just kept, you know, my musical flow, my lyrics and whatnot, and came out crazy. And then they did a remix for it. You know what I'm saying? And remix was Anthony Hamilton music, Soul Child, and Jaheim, and just plateaued and ended up being Tyler Perry's favorite song on that soundtrack for Daddy's Little Girls. You know, and big shout out, Daddy's Little Girls just got the Netflix a couple weeks ago, so you know that helps out my royalties. Yeah, thank you,
Yeah,
Netflix.
yeah. I watched it recently too. I watched it recently too, and
Yeah,
I was like, I never
yeah.
paid
So
attention to that song. I was like, oh, it's a really good song, man. You did your thing on
yeah,
that song, man.
appreciate you, man. Appreciate you. So like it's long story short, like now is the time for me. I've been, you know, people have been pushing me to do something myself for years. I did something independently some years ago that, you know, was did well in France and Italy, Japan, you know what I mean? Just solo thing that I had done, have it produced a couple joints on there for me from Mobb Deep. I even had a joint with him, came out that was pretty dope, called Emotions. And but I never really pushed it here in the States, you know what I mean, at all. It's just like one of those things like I just did out of love for the music, all the these demos I had done, you know what I mean? I'm like, yo, I need to
Right.
put something out, you know what I mean? And it got a lot of love, And so with this music project, and it's crazy because I ended up having to have surgery right when this project job dropped. So I kind of been down the last few months, and I'm just getting back better. You know what I mean? So hopefully, I'm gonna be really straight in the next 30 days, where I can start, really getting on stage on my thing. Because a lot of people trying to get me, on stage or book me, and I hadn't been able to do that, but it's coming. You know what I mean? So y'all stay tuned. The next few weeks, hopefully within the next month, I'm gonna be on somebody's stage.
Yeah, okay. Just to let you know, man. This Zoom, man. It's like 40 minutes. So we gotta, we're gonna try to get everything in before it ends.
Right.
But man, I'm gonna definitely try to get you in person one of these days, man. Hopefully I can get
Hey man, I appreciate it, man. I
no
appreciate the
problem,
love.
man.
Like I said, I appreciate the love. You know what I mean? Like I said, the Geo Soul tape is good energy on. If you like feel good music, this is for you. This is that, it's got love making music. It got joints for the club. You know what I mean? We got this joint called Friday Night. What's up that everybody loving? You know what I mean? So that's probably gonna be my next single, probably dropping in April. Love Flow is out now. I dropped it on Valentine's Day, man, and I'm just ready to get out there, man, so you guys can see me live.
Got you. A few more things. So I know you say so you managing. I know y'all when I talked to you recently, you said you manage your son, right?
Right. Chris Fee. He's pretty dope, man. He's very versatile. He got that rapid style. You know what I mean? He's singing. Got the pretty boy look. You know what I mean? Got his dreads growing. You know what I mean? He's got a joint right now that he just dropped called I Feel It. You know what I mean? It's popping right now on all platforms as well. He's got two projects out as well, two full projects out. And he's grinding, doing his thing, man. So I'm just trying to help him get there and lead him the right way, man, because it's just crazy out here. I just want
Yes,
to
sir.
try to protect him from this silliness that's out here in the streets or whatnot. So I'm just trying to keep him, focused and pushing forward. You know what I mean?
Yeah. What is or if you can go back in time and visit your younger self, what would be one thing you tell your younger self?
One thing I tell my younger self, um, it'll probably be more than one thing, but is to, continue to be myself. My brother always told me don't stop being you, right? So many times a lot of people come around and you try to adapt to who they are rather than sticking to who you are. But I probably would sign with Puff.
Yeah, man, because you right now you right now you be
And the reason I say that because I know he would have put us out. You know what I mean? And
yeah,
although I know a lot of people talk bad about Puff, I have nothing negative to say about the dude. Dude always looked out. Anytime we called, he invited us like, yo, if we had issues, he was like, yo, y'all can come sleep on at the crib. Y'all can come, he always did that. You know what I mean? So I got nothing negative to say about him. And I know he was feeling us. You know what I mean? He always showed
yeah,
me love when he saw me. Um, However, like I said, it's networking is the best thing, man, in the world. Never burn bridges, and that's what
yes, sir.
you know, as youngsters, we tend to do that many times with our attitudes and emotions. You know what I mean? And I would always say, keep your emotions solid. You know what I mean? And try not to act off of emotions. That's why a lot of kids is get shot up now because they acting off of emotions. You know what I
Right,
mean? Keep your emotions cool, and stay solid and true to yourself and don't compromise your integrity because you'll be led the wrong way. So that's what I would say to my younger self.
got you. Man, did you ever like meet Biggie and them, Biggie at all?
Yeah, I hung out with Biggie a few times. You know what I mean? Actually, I was in the studio with him 2 weeks before he got killed. You know what I mean?
Oh man.
So we was down at Daddy's house, man. Me and my boy, we was in a writing session. One of the females that hooked us up to. Um, Faith Evans was in the studio, and it's crazy. You know, we saw Big. He was working on. They were doing some mixing to some of his joints, and he was in one of the rooms, and we were in the other. And we went in the room that he was in by mistake. We didn't realize he was in there because it was working. So we just, quietly went back out. I was like, yo, we ain't gonna bother them right now. He ended up coming over there with a big jar of weed to get a face anyway. So,
Man, what was your big,
but he was cool
your big,
people's, man.
yeah.
He was mad cool. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to
Yeah.
cut you off.
Now you good. I was gonna ask you how cool you was. You already answered that question for me, man.
Man, he was mad cool, man. I remember at one party we was at one night, man. He sat beside us all night. We just, it was just chill. You know what I mean? He was just one of those cool cats, man. You know what I mean? At least, like I said, I have nothing negative to say about him. You know what I mean? Dude was mad cool to us.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I like big. I'm 29 years old, so of course I'm young, but I know what I'm
Yeah,
saying. I've always, like Biggie's music and stuff like that. So just curious
yeah,
how he was
man.
as a person and stuff like that, man. Uh,
Yeah, yeah, he was cool people's, man. God
man,
bless.
hey,
You know what I mean?
but I appreciate you coming on here, man. I really do, man. Like it means a lot to me, man.
Hey,
I
man, I
hope everything you
appreciate you
do,
having me,
man,
man.
you succeed in everything you do, man. For real, like keep
Thank you,
keep it
brother.
going, man. You always have support, my support, man. For real.
Yeah, I appreciate you, man. Keep doing your thing, man. If it wasn't for guys like you, trying, doing these podcasts and coming up, man, we wouldn't have people being able to know who we are. So we appreciate you. We appreciate your efforts and all that you're doing, man. Just keep grinding, keep getting it. I know it's
Appreciate
big
it,
things
man.
for you, coming forward as well. So keep speaking it to existence, man. You got it.
Yes, sir, man. I'm gonna stay in touch with you, man, because got a
Please do,
proposition for
brother.
you.
Absolutely, my man.
All right, man. You take it easy, brother.
The Geo Soul tape out now. The single Love Flow. Go cop that, download it. It's everywhere.
Go
Deuces.
check them out, y'all. Go check them out.
Thank you, brother.